Guy Gruters has a great smile. He looks like he doesn't have a care in the world and is at peace. He is at peace, but he arrived there after enduring 5.5 years as a POW in a North Vietnamese prison camp. He describes the experience as hell on earth.
You got 2 loaves of bread and water. There's all rat droppings in the bread, okay? You got, it's full of mold, it's weevils in there, all worms in the bread. You got to eat the worms.
Guy, a graduate of the United States Air Force Academy, had left behind his wife and 2 young daughters to fly missions over Vietnam.
Of course, I went to Vietnam because it was the right thing to do. You know, I had a wife and 2 children.
He said he felt a strong commitment to the mission and to his fellow soldiers.
There was no way of letting these guys down, you know. That was a game. We were soldiers, you know. We were good soldiers.
Still, it was tough the first time he was shot down over Vietnam.
I remember thinking to myself, how do you like this? You know, how do you like it? How do you like it when you're losing, you know? How do you like dying?
However, Guy was rescued at sea and put in more than 400 missions before he was captured. He said the years of imprisonment were tough, but his faith sustained him.
I had hunger pains for the first 1.5 years or 2 years. What are you going to do? Okay, we had guys commit suicide, you know, because they just couldn't stand it anymore. They just stopped eating.
However, Guy was able to endure.
What kept me going was God, the rosary, you know, and prayer.
Upon reflection, Guy now says that the years in a cramped, dark, dirty prison were a blessing.
It was a wonderful, you know, faith experience for it. It was a horrible thing, but it was a wonderful from a spiritual standpoint, which is all that matters. It was great.
Not too many people would think that being shut away for years and even battling intestinal parasites until just a few years ago would be great. But Guy sees how his faith played a huge part.
It was totally God, totally God. And not only me, but, you know, the other guys too. Totally God. The guys that didn't have God, you know, you don't have a chance.
It wasn't always easy. He recalled how they beat to death a good friend of his from the academy, Larry Saijan. Guy contributed information about him in Into the Mouth of the Cat, the story of Lance Saijan, hero of Vietnam. And he provided information about his fellow pilots for Misty, first-person stories of the F-100 Fast Facts in the Vietnam War. He admits there were dark moments.
First, when I realized I had to stop hating these guys, in my mind, the words, my thoughts were, you gotta be kidding me, God. How can you say that? These guys are so deserving of hatred.
After learning that difficult lesson, he said the rest fell in place, and he continued to pray and learn more about his faith.
I did a lot of spiritual reading, the Bible and everything else when I came back. It was a great conversion experience for me. I never upset with prison camp. Best thing that ever happened to me, and it was hell on earth for 5 years.
Guy returned to the States, worked as a pilot, a salesman, and helped start a computer software company. He and his wife went on to have 6 more children, and he spends most of his time trying to share with others the power of prayer and forgiveness.
Now I'm trying to go out and tell a story of how God saves you from pride and hatred and, you know, unforgiveness, and he wants you to be with him all day. You know, he's really a love. He really is.
For Reel to Reel, I'm Peggy Weber.
And Peggy tells us that Guy Gruters is working on a new book about his experiences as a POW. To learn more about him, you can log on to our website, iobserve.org, for a link.